Hey folks, welcome to Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited, and it's time for another Nitro's Take. I'm Kellen Nitro, and this is my take on just different events and happenings in the world of wrestling. And over the weekend, we had a large conglomeration of independent wrestlers take part in GCW's The Collective, which was basically all of the Mania Week shows, super shows for independent wrestling that ended up being canceled in Tampa because of COVID, but they all shifted and ended up in Indianapolis. And this event that I'm talking about today is Shimmer at the Collective. Yes, this is one promotion I'm happy got a show in 2020. The Wrestlemania Week Shimmer show is always an amazing all-star showcase of women's wrestling. This show proves to be more of the same. This is Shimmer at the Collective, FKA Shimmer 118. It took place on Sunday, October 11th, 2020, from the Marion County Fairgrounds in Indianapolis, Indiana, and streamed live on FITE TV, which I think is one of the first times that Shimmer has been on FITE TV and the FITE TV app. In the past, it had always been on WWN Live. And with that company basically not doing much anymore, they've jumped on the FITE TV bandwagon, and I am for it, for sure. It is a great easy way to order iPay-per-views, and it's a lot of fun. So we'll jump to our opening contest here, and this was an AEW versus Impact matchup. We had from AEW Dark, Kenzie Page take on from Impact Wrestling, Nevaeh, and Lenny Leonard, Allison Danger doing a call through the entire pay-per-view, and it was pretty good commentary, if I may say so myself. I really enjoyed. Kenzie Page is 18 years old, man. Might be the youngest athlete in Shimmer history making her debut, but there's another athlete later on, actually in the next match, a hometown athlete, for those in the Indianapolis area, that was just a little bit younger, believe it or not, than Kenzie. But Kenzie, of course, you've seen her on AEW Dark in the past, and Nevaeh, you've seen her on Impact in the past. She's finally getting a kind of another look on a big stage. I know that she's done, I think she was in WrestleLicious way back in the day, and several dark match opportunities and enhancement talent things throughout her career, but finally getting a real push alongside of Jessica Havoc in Impact right now at this point. Kenzie gets a near fall early on with some double knees, and Kenzie, of course, was a heel here. Nevaeh was face with a sizable crowd behind her. Kenzie was dominant at times, but Nevaeh proved to be too much, and Nevaeh fights back for the finish and picks up the pinfall with a kill shot, 1, 2, 3. So the running time for this one was 6 minutes and 20 seconds. I thought it was a solid opener for the event, and yeah, so on and so forth. Good for both of them to open up this card. Our next contest was a sensational scramble match. It was held under Lucha rules. Only 2 participants allowed at a time in the ring, with Elena Black, Queen Amatana, Jody Frett, Alice Crowley, Big Mama, and Brittany Blake. The first pin or submission wins it. Crowley is the hometown girl in this match, and as I talked about earlier with Kenzie Page, I thought Kenzie was going to be the youngest on the card until Alice Crowley shows up. She's just barely 18 years old in this thing, so she's the youngest. A real youth movement coming into the Shimmer right now, and as was mentioned on the telecast by Allison Danger, and I have to agree with her, yeah, we'll have to see these girls go over to Japan, get that education over there in Japan on the Puroresu / Joshi element, I guess, and bring that as part of their games and that stuff. And they just, they're just, if they work that into their game plan, man, exponentially it improves. It's incredible for sure. But this match was pretty good. Big Mama and Amatani started this thing. Mama with a spine buster, but then it's Fret and Black with an extended volley in the ring. Their one-on-one was pretty good. I wouldn't mind seeing them go one-on-one on a Shimmer weekend in the future. Blake tried a head scissors off the back of Big Mama, blocked, and Fret delivered a power bomb on Blake. Amitano with a big dive to the outside. It was just beautiful just to see that. That was a fast-paced spot that ended perfectly with Amitana just diving over the top of the ropes and onto the crowd on the outside. Big pop from the crowd there. They enjoyed it. Those watching at home, like myself, probably enjoyed it as well. 3 seconds around the world by FITE on Blake. Only allows 2, or only nets 2, I should say. Big Mama takes a big spill to the floor via FITE, allowing Crowley to steal the roll-up pin. 1, 2, 3, and Alice Crowley notches the surprise victory at 7 minutes and 10 seconds. But yeah, hey, that was, a great showcase of 6 women that are going to be part of Shimmer's future going forward. And these are all youngish talents. Like I said, Alice Crowley, probably the youngest participant on this card taking place. Not the youngest participant this weekend during the events and that stuff, as was talked about during Joey Janela's spring break and so on and so forth. But during the group of shows that I watched, amongst the youngest, but it's, they all had a really good showing in this match. I don't think there was somebody that had a real bad showing on this card. I think that all the women brought it for sure, and just the revitalization and kind of the quote-unquote relaunch of Shimmer for the year went swimmingly throughout it. Kid ref Chris Levin hits the ring, and it's time. And don't forget, the old senior referee is now in AEW. That was Bryce Remsburg. So it's a time for guys like Andy Long and Chris Levin to really get some ring time as referees for this promotion as well, as they are noted independent referees right now, and the guys that you want calling your matches, basically. And that sets the tone for Heather Monroe versus legit Layla Hirsch. This is my first time seeing Layla in action. I've seen GIFs of her, GIFs, whatever, on Twitter of some of her matches and that stuff. Monroe, of course, part of that NWA UWN Primetime Live program that does the weekly pay-per-views Tuesday nights on pay-per-view. If you want my thoughts on that, they are also available here as Nitro's takes earlier on the channel. So just head back after this review is done and check back through the history. I did the first 2 NWA UWN shows under the same format and gave my thoughts and opinions on it all during that. So Hirsch, a smaller athlete, tons of power though, and Monroe tries to out-wrestle Hirsch early. No dice, but Monroe catches Hirsch in a submission attempt. No submission there. Hirsch making her Shimmer debut. Hirsch then lands a angle slam, only nets 2. I have down, it's true. Beautiful moonsault by Hirsch. Cover, but they end up in the ropes, so ref has to break that. Monroe reaches into the heel playbook and nails Hirsch with a thumb to the eye and gets the 1, 2, 3. This match here, 7:16 in length. A great showcase for both women. Heather Monroe, I think, is going to be a big piece of these Shimmer weekends going forward, and Layla Hirsch as well. We'll be talking about her a little bit later on, as she was involved in that 4-woman blood sport tournament as well, to crown their first women's champion in kind of a mini tournament for women competition as well. That was later on in the evening on Sunday, but this again was my first time seeing Hirsch in action. I was very impressed with what I seen. Just a real kind of a legit amateur type, smaller athlete, but can go hold for hold with anybody and is a real technician in there. So next match, a tag team contest featuring on the heel side Kayla, Cassidy, and Sierra versus on the face side the Bird and the Bee, Willow Nightingale, and Solo Darling. Awesome technical exchange by Solo and Cassidy to start things off. Sierra and Cassidy doing a great job as heels here. Extended offense on Willow, a fight or flight attempt, but Sierra breaks it up. Bird and the Bee go for a fight or flight attempt, but Sierra ends up breaking it up. Powerbomb out of the corner, but Solo breaks up the 2 count, so almost a near fall there for the heel side. Solo locks in the Hertz Donut FKA, the Sharp Stinger, which is Solo's version of the Sharp Shooter, and gets a submission win. It's kind of an assist before that gives it a little bit of a double team maneuver by Willow. Real decent match. The runtime for that one was 9 minutes and 55 seconds. Again, a real showcase, as it seems like Bird and the Bee are going to be going for the Shimmer tag team titles at some point, and it was mentioned during the tag team title match later on in the card that these teams will, or that the winner of this match would be likely either next in line or up there for a tag team title shot. So Shimmer fans, get ready. We might see the Bird and the Bee take on either Team Sea Stars or the Hex, which was the tag team title match. We'll talk about that later on in the card. That was Marty Bell and Allison Kay's team. So then came a real showcase match. We had Debbie Ann versus the debuting Lacey Ryan. This is my first time watching either woman perform at an independent show, let alone a Shimmer showcase event. Ryan's trained by Tom Howard, cheerleader Melissa, and Allison Danger. Danger gushing about her on commentary, as she should. Ryan making her Shimmer debut. And Debbie Ann apparently worked Saraya Knight last year in a match, so maybe something to suss out. Have to find out what promotion that was. Big belly to back on Ryan, nets 2. Ryan with some incredible fired up offense. Yeah, when she got going in there, just, incredible babyface fire and that stuff. Both girls end up on the top turnbuckle, but Devianne falls off, allows Ryan to hit the central perk, a variation of AJ Styles' spiral tap from back in the TNA days, and gets the 1-2 free. A very good showcase for Ryan. Commentary, of course, putting her over huge at this point. The runtime for that match is 8:09. So, great showcase. This is a debut match for an athlete. I think that she'll be challenging for probably the Heart of Shimmer first, as that kind of progression works up. Unless she finds a tag team partner somewhere along the line. Pretty good showcase match for Ryan for sure, and I think that Shimmer's got something with her going forward. See her while you can, because this will be somebody that'll be earmarked for major promotions here in the next coming years for sure. The Heart of Shimmer Championship was on the line next, with the challenger Thunder Kitty taking on Hyann, the Renaissance Woman. Hyann has dyed her hair for this match and actually looks great with the all blonde look, and Hyann, of course, won a triple threat to become the interim Heart of Shimmer. Samantha Heights is the other current champion, and methinks there will be an angle between the two of them once Heights is healthy again. I think they said it was an ACL injury that Heights has had, and of course I was in the crowd last year on the Shimmer Showcase in New York City when Heights won the title from then Dust, now known as Zoe Sky, in the main event. That was one of my highlights of the weekend. It was one of the best matches that I've seen during Wrestlemania weekend. So Heights can go. It's just a matter of when she will be healthy and when she'll be back in action on a semi-regular basis as these indies start to kind of liven up a little bit and get going. So hopefully it's sooner rather than later for her. Of course, to facilitate that, they have Hyann working heel, and she's a great heel right now in Shimmer. Seated abdominal stretch by Hyann, but it's reversed into the Von Erich Claw. No submission on either side. Hyann hits her version of the Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and only nets 2. Shout out to the Honky Tonk Man there. Beauty Sleep by Hyann, and that nets the 1-2 free. Very championship caliber contest. A very mid-card championship caliber contest, which the Heart of Shimmer belt basically is. The runtime for that one is 10:17. She retains the Heart of Shimmer Championship, and like I said, look for a face-off between Hyann and Samantha Heights later on down the road, and that's something that I am eagerly awaiting as I rub my knuckles, much like one CM Punk back in the day. Another singles match here where we had Holodead take on Zoe Sky, the former Dust, as I've talked about in the previous match, taking on the former tag partner of Thunder Rosa. This is a first-time matchup, a classic smaller athlete versus larger athlete matchup. Holodead doing Cesaro's giant swing. That was quite effective. The two exchanged near falls in an incredible flurry. Holodead goes for a spear in the corner, smokes her shoulder, allows Sky to hit a DDT on the apron of all things, and she goes up for her finisher, the Swirly Stomp, which is a variation of Finn Balor, Prince Devitt's coup de grace, and nails the 1-2 free. Post-match, code of honor adherence here, as both athletes basically faces, and it was for a face versus face match, very passable and probably better than anything you'd see on Monday Night Television for sure. So the runtime for this one was 11 minutes and 43 seconds, and it was a quality 11:43. Both women should be proud with the effort that they presented in front of the crowd there. By the way, the crowd, for it being a smaller crowd, I found was very noisy at times. It was a kind of a more intimate crowd due to the coronavirus restrictions and so on and so forth. And plus, Shimmer crowds, depending on the venue, because Shimmer kind of piggybacks off of these other venues. You can see as the years go by with this showcase event, which Shimmer Volume 53 at WrestleCon in 2013 in New Jersey, in Secaucus, New Jersey, was kind of the first of its type. These are kind of hit and miss with your crowd numbers. It all depends on how the card is built and who is featured and who's been making waves in women's wrestling right now. That's under the Shimmer banner on their numbers. But for the restrictions, I thought the crowd was fairly good. They gave it their all, everybody who was there. It would have been a fun show to witness live, that's for sure. Shimmer tag team titles on the line next. We kind of touched on this earlier, but we had the Hex. Allison Kay, Marty Bell take on Team C Stars, Delmy Exo, Ashley Vox, who are the current champs. AK and Marty rocking red motifs tonight, and the C Stars going with kind of green and white, kind of Misawa tribute outfits, if you will, with the green and white happening. So AK and Delmy start off the match fairly hot. The sun is starting to be a factor in the building at this time. So the way that this Marion County Fairgrounds pavilion, basically a 4-H pavilion, is built, there were giant windows on either side. And of course, with Joey Janela's spring break, that's during the evening, so the sun had set and had gone down, so it wasn't a factor. This card ran during the afternoon on Sunday, so of course you get that mid-afternoon sun coming through and blasting light onto the ring and that stuff, which must have been a pain in the ass to shoot for all the photographers and videographers there. But it was funny, it just kind of affected this one match, and then the sun went to a place where it wasn't affected anymore, and for the main event, which is up after this one, it wasn't a factor at all, but just seemed to be just really poorly timed, I guess, to have this match come out and just have the sun kind of just slowly blast through the windows and then move on. That's just what it is. I'm sure that if GCW and the Collective decide to run afternoon shows again there in that building, they may decide to tarp off that side of the building with, just dark curtains or something like that would solve it. But just a small production thing, but it's very noticeable on camera, and you can hear the guys in between matches and during the intros kind of allude to it, the camera operators and that stuff, as it kind of busts out on camera. So just an interesting side, but it also, though, kind of affects the people in the ring, because obviously if you've ever looked directly into the sun, you get momentarily blinded. So I'm not sure if a safety issue per se when you're at this level, but there might have been, for sure. Also, Delmy Exo got dumped kind of unceremoniously during the early minutes of this match to the outside and was milking her leg and her ankle a little bit, and you can see she kind of lands funny on the video. So I'm not sure if she had tweaked her knee for real there, or if that was just something to work on with the match. But there were times where you could tell during this match where she was going for spots, and it was kind of difficult for her to plant that foot down and give it a go. But she looks good, though, once she was tagged in. Double drop kick for 2, no pin, though. AK and Ashley Vox renew hostilities during this. This is old school NWA power here. Got me psyched up for whatever is to come with the NWA power and whatever creative is going forward, as both of them are, I think, still part of the NWA. I'm pretty sure Allison Kay still is. Unsure about Vox, but I think that they'll be bringing her back for the next season of Power for sure. Yoshi Tonic by Vox, only 2 on AK. Commentary kept me in stitches all match, because I want to say about 6-7 minutes in, and they started doing a little bit of comedic spots and everything. There was one really funny spot where I forget the maneuver, but Kay was rolled up for a pin but only got 2. But then there was a standoff of Marty Bell, Delmy Exo, and Ashley Vox over top of Allison Kay, and Kay was still kind of rolled up like this, but it was just kind of one of those extended playing possum things as she tries to go for, I believe it was a small package, but only got a 2 count off that, so that was really funny. Execution attempt denied by Delmy, which was kind of their version, Marty and Allison Kay's version, I should say, of the Doomsday device from the legendary Road Warriors, of course. Sea Stars hit the flopping fish, which is an assisted senton for the 1-2-3, and the Sea Stars retain the titles. The time was 16:09. It was a fairly fun contest, but of course the production note was the sun just beaming into the building at times and that stuff. But, you know, it kind of looked like it was kind of a brutal thing. But, hey, independent wrestling, it happens, right? And yeah, just looking on 411 Mania, the flopping fish finisher, thank the Quebecers elevated senton. You know, if you are old school WWF fans. If not, you know, go watch some old school Raws. There'll be some Nitro stakes on some old school Raws coming up too. Stay tuned. Then, of course, it's time for the main event, and this was for the Shimmer Championship, Nicole Savoy versus Kimberly, and with chance of new champ, as both women readied themselves for this contest and the ring introductions were made. Savoy was the Shimmer champ, but it was eliminated in a 4-way by Shotzi Blackheart. Kimber became Shimmer's champ. Savoy upset that Kimber never beat her. Yes, the match heads to the outside, and there's a dive by Kimber onto Savoy. Savoy retaliates though by hitting a tope suicida not much later. Monster suplex on the outside by Kim on Savoy. Kim then takes control, tries a half crab, but it's reversed into a pin attempt, but broken up as Kim gets a thumb in the eye of Savoy. So at this point, Savoy kind of working babyface here, but Kimberly doing all it takes, definitely to heel in this crowd's eyes. We didn't see a very epic chop battle. Savoy hits a TKO, only nets a 2 count, but then the finish, the Kim Ton bomb out of the corner, 1-2-3, and Kim finally beats Savoy. Yes. Commentary had mentioned 2 prior matchups. One was during the Heart of Shimmer tournament in Dallas back in 2016, and Savoy had beat Kim both times. So this is Kim's first victory over Nicole Savoy. The runtime of this event, 2 hours and 30 minutes on the nose. The runtime for this match was 20 minutes and 4 seconds. I'm going to give this card a 7.5 out of 10. It did have its flaws at times, but I'm not going to be as hard as 411 Mania is here with this card, but I do appreciate them for the detailed write-up that I used in kind of research for this thing before going on air with this tonight, as well as you know, all of the chatter about this on Twitter and so on and so forth. Anyways, folks, later days, happy wrestling watching. We've got one more show to take a look at, and that'll come out later this week. It was Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, the 2020 edition. There was a mini tournament to crown a Bloodsport women's champion between 4 of the best legit kind of MMA style athletes there are in women's wrestling today. And of course, a amazing main event between the Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson, the hotshot from the NWA UWN Primetime Live programs, the man who is garnering all the buzz right now, taking on, of all people, the frickin' AEW World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley. And man, this card from top to back, wow. We'll dissect it. We'll talk about it next time here on Nitro Steak later this week. I'm Kellen Nitro. See ya.